It also, and what you were talking about was Chat GPT, right? And so there are other things like that. Also, Google has something called Bard, which is actually connected to the internet. Chat GPT's got some things where it's getting there, but it's also giving people access to conversations that is way above their level. So the easiest example is I was putting my daughter, she's 7, to bed the other day, and she's really interested in outer space. And I pulled up ChatGPT to explain to her what black holes were, because I can't explain that to her.
That's right.
But I asked this tool to explain it at a 7-year-old level, and it gave analogies and stories and things like that to where she understood. And I've done that in business of the Silicon Valley Bank and things like that, where I took a complex situation and made it where it was accessible to my clients and the people following me. So we can send an email out and they know exactly what's going on, how we're handling it without talking over their heads.
It really is remarkable to me how I tell Julie, I call it Terminator, right? I really do see it being able to control large parts of my life, right? I see that. Sure. And it will help certain people that have weaknesses substantially.
I don't think there's anything that's come into business since the internet that is going to be more impactful on how people do business, which is why I wanted to make sure we talked about it. And it's going to make people more successful. But one of the things I'm really interested in, especially for your show and this audience, is it's going to give smaller business owners access to significantly more firepower, right? Currently, you have to go hire everybody for all these things. Think of this as an intern that is infinitely smarter than you in one area, right? So there's these things like ChatGPT and Bard that can help you, but then there's also like Pictory is a really big one that can help you do pictures. There's videos.
Whoa. Pictory.
Pictory, yeah. So there's a ton out there, and who's going to
really?
win?
I only know about one, the Terminator. I don't know about all these, Ben.
So this is also, I mentioned internet as the comparison. This is similar to the tech bubble where everybody would put a .com on their company, and then 95% of them ended up failing. It's going to be very similar. We don't know which ones are going to win and which ones are going to lose. They're the leaders, right? GPT is a big one. There's one called Jasper that helps with your writing. Think of that as like a writing assistant. There's another one that I was going to mention. Let me go into it in my article. That was Fireflies is really interesting. So Fireflies can record every video, or every meeting that you have. Let's say you're on Zoom or Teams or something like that. It's going to record it. It's going to transcribe it. It's going to give you notes from the meeting, and you can then go back through the whole transcription and pull anything out after. So the days of taking notes during meetings and missing something or missing a note because you're listening or missing...
Be careful. You getting ready to make Julie obsolete in a minute now if you're not careful. Oh, Isaiah's giving me that look. I said, oh, that was a mistake. I didn't mean that, Julie. I didn't mean that. Whoa. It was a slip. It was a slip of the tongue.
Yeah. I think these tools are going to give people like Julie more bandwidth.
Right.
That's what it's going to do.
Right, that's right.
Because
so she can be a part of the meeting and not have to worry about just focusing on what everybody's saying.
Right. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. And instead of me trying to take a note down and so I miss what somebody's saying in a podcast or something like that, or vice versa on my podcast, what I've ended up doing was take less notes and then go through and re-listen to the whole thing. Something like Fireflies means I don't have to do that because it's doing that for me. Another thing that I think is really interesting, it's called Motion AI. And what it does is it takes think of it as like an executive assistant meets your to-do list. So what I do is I put all my tasks, all my projects in, how much time I need to spend on it, what the deadlines are, is it a hard deadline, soft deadline, is there anybody else I'm working on it with, right? All the specifics you would put into any sort of CRM system. And then it takes that and it puts it into my calendar and says, okay, you're going to work on this project or this task for these 30 minutes. And then
Oh, that's a Terminator. That's a coach.
That
bothers me, Ben. You're too efficient. I'm not that efficient.
That's the thing. I wasn't either, because I'd be going off this to-do list, and then I'd have a note written somewhere else, and then all of a sudden, I've got a meeting that I have to attend.
Right.
And so things slip through the cracks, or you miss a deadline or whatever. And this is literally telling me, based off my parameters, I can say, when do I want to work? Do I need to block time off? Do I have other meetings? Whatever. But it will change my schedule and say, okay, this is when you're going to get things done. And let's say this Motion AI scheduled something for 10 a.m. and then I needed to schedule a meeting then, it will automatically take what it put there and reschedule it.
Wow.
So I think it's going to empower the small business owner tremendously and level the playing field of.
And what it's going to do is it's going to allow me, somebody who's got a Julie, which by the way, everybody needs a Julie, and it's going to allow me to expand and leverage what she can do for me.
Yes.
Not do less, right? But be able to do more because these functions, somebody else or something else can do them.
Yep, that's it. And I can't remember this. I saw a clip. I can't remember the name of this AI, but there was a guy who his sole job was editing podcasts, and there were different video angles and all that, and his job was to go through and cut it all up. Well, he created a video clip of using an AI. He uploaded the video, clicked the button, and it did his job in 20 seconds. And he was like, well, I'm now irrelevant. But to your point earlier, it's just going to change what these people are doing. Right, just like the internet did, just like every sort of evolution always has.
That's right.
We don't need to do the manual labor we used to do, just like now we don't need to go and spend an hour.
And it's changing my expectations. I mean, it's changing what I can offer the clients.
100%. In the wealth management space, it's going to be a game changer because we can get much more analysis of what type of investment should we be doing, what type of tax strategy should we be doing for clients, all that, because now we're going to have this infinitely powerful software and AI tools behind us that can do the job of 50 analysts.
Right.
And so my portfolio manager is already starting to use some of these things to do research on top of what he's doing and make sure, is he missing anything? Should he be looking at something at a different angle? Are there macro environment type things that we're not factoring in? And so that's what I really think it does. It's going to take these people that are already doing the job, and it's going to make them better at it, and it's going to make small business owners more powerful because now they can have, essentially, think of it like I said earlier, the intern, they can have all these people working for them, whereas really now it's just AI that's supporting them instead.